So how do you get your website to actually show up in the answers from AI models like ChatGPT? It's the question on just about every website owner's mind right now. And while it feels like this brand new frontier, it's probably way more achievable than you think. Let's dive right in.
Okay, so let's start with the big one. Can your website, your blog post, that page you spend hours on, can it really become a source for an AI? Well, the answer is absolutely 100% yes. And in this explainer, we're going to break down the exact actionable steps to make that happen.
First things first, you've got to meet the main character in this whole story, GPT-bot. The easiest way to think about it is that it's just like Google's famous Googlebot. It's OpenAI's own web crawler, the little tool that zips around the internet and feeds all that information back to ChatGPT. Our entire goal here is to make our website as friendly and as clear to the bot as we possibly can.
So, how do we even start talking to this bot? Well, that brings us to our very first step, creating a file called llm.txt. Honestly, just think of this as a brand new, special welcome mat that you're putting out on your doorstep, designed just for AI. But hang on, before we go any further, it's really important to set the right expectation here. Adding this file isn't some magic switch that's going to instantly get you featured. It's more of a tool for communication. It's how you open up a direct line to these AI models, but it is not a guarantee of ranking. It's really just the start of the conversation.
Now, what's really cool is how this clarifies the difference between this new LLM.txt and the robots.txt file that, we've known for years. Your robots.txt file is like a gatekeeper. It just sets these broad, you can come in or you can't rules for all the bots out there. But LLM.txt, that's like a concierge. It gives specific, really detailed instructions just to the AI bots, pointing them directly to your most valuable stuff.
And getting this set up, it's actually incredibly simple, especially if you're using a tool like Rank Math. It's really just a three-step process. First, you just flip on the LLM text feature. Second, you choose exactly which content you want to highlight for the AI. In this case, maybe it's just your posts. And third, you hit save. That's it. The file's updated, and your new AI concierge is officially on duty.
All right, let's move on to our second step. And listen, this is a big one. We have to talk about schema markup. If the llm.txt file is the welcome mat, then you can think of schema as the actual language you use to communicate with the AI. It's how you translate your content into a format that it can understand perfectly.
And I really want to emphasize this. Schema markup isn't just another box you check off a list. Getting this right may be the single most important thing you do for AI visibility. So you're going to want to pay close attention to this part.
So what does getting it right actually look like? Well, it starts with picking the correct schema type. And this really breaks down the key difference. If you're publishing something that's factual, like a news story or a guide, you're going to use article schema. But if you're writing about your own thoughts, your opinions, then you use blog post schema. This simple choice helps the AI correctly categorize your information and, frankly, trust it more.
And inside that schema, whether it's an article or a blog post, you have to make sure you filled out the essentials. We're talking about a clear headline, a really concise description, and of course, your primary focus keyword. You're basically just packaging up your core on-page SEO in a way that's perfectly digestible for an AI.
All right, so we've put out our special AI welcome mat, and we're speaking the AI's language with schema. Now for the last little technical piece, just making sure the front door is actually unlocked. And this is where that classic old-school robots.txt file comes into play.
Now this right here is what you do not want to see in your file. This code specifically calls out GPT-bot by name and tells it to disallow, which basically means it's not allowed to access anything on your site. This is like locking the door right as the bot walks up your path.
Instead, this is what you're looking for. Super simple. A user agent with a star, and then a completely blank disallow field. This is the universal come on in sign for all web crawlers, and that includes GPT-bot and any other AI bots out there. It just makes sure they have the basic access they need to read all those careful instructions you've just prepared for them.
So, we've covered the new files, we've talked schema, we've gone over the access rules, but let's pull back for a second for the final and honestly the most important piece of the whole puzzle. Because all of these technical tweaks, they don't mean a thing if they aren't built on a really strong foundation of solid SEO fundamentals. Because at the end of the day, classic SEO still rules. That's the truth. AI models are being trained to find the best, the most trustworthy, and the most helpful content on the web. And that means quality on-page SEO, demonstrating your experience and expertise, that whole EEAT thing, and just creating genuinely high-value content is more important than it's ever been. These technical tips we talked about, they just help the AI recognize the great work you're already doing.
So there you have it. You now have the blueprint. You can set up the welcome mat, you can speak the language, and you can open the front door. Your website is officially AI ready. And that just leaves one final, really exciting question to think about. What are you going to teach it first?